It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News. We're on a roll, folks. So far, I hadn't screwed anything up. I got a chance of screwing things up here during the day today, however, but we've got a whole bunch of stuff to do. Of course, this is Travel and Cruise Industry News on August the 31st, 2021. I'm coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia. We got a lot of stuff. We got some breaking news from Norwegian this morning. We got the Sky Princess update. We got the end of Ida. Thank goodness. We got more about Kate and a new system off Africa. The Wonder of the Seas sea trial, Oceania's restart, CDC guidelines, and a special report from Hot Air Tom on his attempt at wave running in Islamorada, Florida. But first, I got to at least knock the weather out. So let's do that, and then we'll get Tom in to talk a little about his problems. Now, that's a look at the weather map. Ida is now up into Tennessee, actually, and she's on her way to northern areas. So, Tropical Depression Ida is over Tennessee now, still having considerable heavy rain and flood threat, and that's going to continue to spread from Tennessee and the Ohio valleys into central and southern Appalachians and the mid-Atlantic through tomorrow. What's left of Ida has moved into Tennessee with maximum sustained winds still at about 30 miles an hour. She's starting to speed up a little bit. She's moving northeast at 12. Pressure's up, but still it's under 1,000, so it's 998. The Gulf Coast is still sifting through the aftermath and launching rescue missions in the wake of Ida's landfall as a hurricane. Officials say some areas could spend up to the next month of their recovery without power. Down power lines, impassable roads, and obstacles to rescue workers have pushed many local officials to ask residents who evacuated not to return yet, and those who stayed to ride out the storm. Many will face temperatures as high as 103 degrees with no access to power. More than 1 million customers in Louisiana, 60,000 in Mississippi, 16,000 in Alabama are currently without power. So, it's still wreaking havoc down there and along the Gulf Coast, but it's moving out and things will get better down there as the work progresses. Now, the second storm is Kate out there in the middle of the Atlantic, poorly organized. I don't see this doing much. It's about 850 miles east-northeast of the leewards, carrying about 40-mile-an-hour wind. She's kind of creeping along at 5 miles an hour. The pressure's above 1,000 to 1,006. I just don't see this doing much. The one over there off of Africa is a different story. It's a well-defined low-pressure system. It's about 200 miles southwest of the coast of Guinea. Associated shower and thunderstorm activities begin to show some signs of organization. Environmental conditions are very conducive. They're talking about 90% over the next 2 days, 90% over the following 5. So there is a good chance that one's going to wreak havoc. So there is no activity in the Pacific as Nora has turned into post-depression moisture. Now, it's supposed to rain in Arizona and into Colorado from Nora, but it's completely off the radar now. So, all right. We've talked about it yesterday, folks. It was totally my fault. I totally screwed up trying to set us up with Hot Air Tom. Now, as you know, folks, and I've been very transparent about this, Hot Air Tom got in trouble down there in Key West trying to steal a chicken and had to leave town. And he and Cindy are up in Islamorada, Florida, where he attempted to get on a Waverunner, and Cindy just went, "Oh my God, not again! Another Tom, one of Tom's adventures." But anyway, with no further ado, let me bring in Hot Air Tom from Islamorada, California, Islamorada, Florida. Tom, how you doing?
Hello, everybody.
Yes, there he is.
Sitting on the balcony here in our room, and that's the view.
Somebody has to do it, I guess. All right, tell us about the whole issue with the Waverunner. What made you decide to do that?
Well, that was a bucket list item I've always wanted to do. And when we were in Wisconsin, the hot air balloon ride, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to do a Waverunner there, and they wouldn't rent to me because I didn't have a boater's license and no experience. They weren't into trainees. So, and I had booked a Waverunner on one of the NCL cruises at Great Stirrup Cay, and it was canceled. And interestingly, we go back to Great Stirrup Cay on an April cruise on the Escape, and then next August on the Sky, and the Waverunner excursion isn't available. So I thought, So I looked into getting a boater's license, and I'm in the middle of doing a full license online. It's just taking longer than I had a wait time to deal with. And the place here, it's right on the facility, the water sports, and they gave me a link for a Florida 90-day temporary one, which I completed and passed with 96%.
Sweet.
I'm old enough. Apparently, the law here is that you don't need the license unless you were born, I think, after sometime in 1980. So technically, I didn't need it. But if I was going to go out there, I wanted to be responsible and know the rules anyway.
Yeah.
But the folks here were very good at training, and it wasn't that they just gave you a Waverunner and let you go. It was more of a guided tour. Okay. So it was great. It was a great training exercise, and there was only one other Waverunner involved other than the leader that did the training, and then we just followed a single file, and we got up to some good speeds.
All right, now is that the picture that's up now? Can you see that?
Yes.
You're actually on the Waverunner there, shooting back toward the boat?
That's another boat that had nothing to do with our thing. But yes, I am sitting on the Waverunner there, and the boat is just at the dock that we got off of. Now, it's funny, if you've ever seen Waverunners, they usually have like a floating dock that they just sort of slide the Waverunners up on, and it's lower. And there was one of the usual pool type ladders to get down. And the other customer that was doing the wave riding, if you see the two on the picture there, it's a mother and son from Long Island of all places. But the son was 13, and she said the funniest thing, that she went down the ladder like stairs and got to the bottom and then said, "Oh, I should have went the other way." And she's trying to get her son to turn around and go down like a ladder, and he's not getting it. He's put his foot, he's going to go down like steps, and he's put his first foot on the rung, and she said, "No, turn around." And he just can't understand what she's talking about. And she had to say, "Well, go to the top." They went back up to the top, turn around. And it was hard to get him to turn around. And then going down those steps, he looked worse than me, an old man, saying, where's the step? Where's the step? I can't find the step. She had to grab his foot and sort of guide it to the next rung. And then he got onto the floating dock and lost his one flip-flop into the water, and I was going to have some kind of a meltdown. The guide said, "No problem," and he said, "I'll get it." And it was rubber, and it was floating, and he just reached out and grabbed the thing and got it back on the kid. And I'm thinking, this kid's going to fall off. So I let them go second in the lineup, and I was waiting to rescue that kid when he fell off, but I couldn't believe it. He didn't. He managed to stay on there the whole time.
All right, now this is you're taking this obviously from the Waverunner. So this is proof that you're actually in the water on a Waverunner. Is that correct?
That's correct. And
awesome.
It was a little bit of a challenge because the Waverunner has no steering if you don't have the throttle on. And the throttle's sort of like a weed eater rather than a motorcycle, which I was expecting to turn like a motorcycle handle does.
Yeah.
But so you got to have your hand on, and it's on the right hand. So you got to have the hand there pulling the lever a little bit to go. And if you don't, it just sort of meanders around. And they had a dry box to keep the camera in, like right below the steering wheel. But to pull the camera out and try to see it in the sunlight and hold the camera, you need a second hand, like to push the camera button to take a picture, and then then the thing would be drifting the wrong way. And I thought, I can't do this. So I managed to get one while the other guys were stopped there, and that was about it. I would have liked to have more. I should have had some kind of a head mount for the camera, and I could have got some movies.
That sounds like me when I need another arm and another hand to do this damn broadcast sometimes. It's much the same thing. All right. So Tom, it took us about 2 months to ever believe that you were in the hot air balloon. So now we got proof that you were actually out there in the water on a Waverunner, and I think that's fabulous. So now let's see if I've got this correctly. You swam with penguins. You got in a hot air balloon. You tried to steal a chicken from Key West, and now you've been on a Waverunner. What's next on your bucket list? I'm afraid to ask.
Well, if we get enough people, I have a 2:00 reservation for snorkeling.
Nice.
They said they have an eight pass. They have a minimum of 8, and at the point I called yesterday, I was number 1. So hopefully some other people called. They're waiting to see if the weather is good today. That ought to help. It's at 2:00, so we got some time. They haven't called yet to cancel, so
okay.
Got my fingers crossed. They have stand-up paddle boards you can rent here too.
I don't love that.
I don't think I can get up on one though. My knees are just too achy to. That's the one thing that scared me. If I fell off the darn Waverunner, would I be able to get back on again? Yeah. I have enough trouble getting out of a bathtub.
I just, matter of fact, when they just finished installing me a walk-in tub / hot tub, so I can now get in and out of a tub instead of taking a chance on breaking my neck. All right, so that's a shot of the place there at Islam. What's the proper pronunciation, Tom? Islamorada?
Yeah, Islamorada.
Okay.
That was the walk back. They got a lot. It's interesting, a cool use of the palm trees. So you'd never know there's a whole lot of units. Basically, each of the.
Uh-oh. What happened? Tom, you cut yourself off. I'll wait for Tom to click himself back on. I hope he realizes quick that he cut himself off. While he's getting back on, let me run over here and take a look in the chat room real quick. While Tom, maybe I better send Tom a message in case he doesn't know. He lost you. Because he might be just sitting there talking away and not realize that he's offline. Okay, let's see who's in the chat while Tom's getting back on. Gretchen's here. Carol's here. Jason's here. Hey, Jason. Tom says, oh, good. The NCL news. Amy's with us. Tom, if you can hear me, come back in again. You completely went out. I think you were moving the camera and you lost the signal somehow. So Tom says, hi, Jason. He's out of the news down there. Okay, we're going to catch you up on it, Tom, if you can hear us. Carol says, woo. Tom says, chasing after chasing. Jack's with us down in Conroe, Texas, 86 degrees. Very sunny. That's cool. Tom says, hi, Jack. More pics to make you jealous, Jack. Oh, there comes Tom back. There we go. Add back to the stream. There, you're back again. Good. Tom says, hi, Jack. More pics to make you jealous. Uh-oh, you're not. I'm not hearing you. There we go. There, yeah, that's good. There, you're back again. Good. Uh-oh, now I've got feedback from somewhere, Tom. I'm not hearing you. That looks like you're frozen.
Okay.
Now I can hear you. I was getting feedback there.
Well,
no, I'm not now.
Here?
That looks like you're frozen. Okay. No, there. Yeah, I'm hearing too.
I was trying to tilt the camera a little bit, and it wasn't working. Well,
no, I'm not now. That looks like you're frozen. Okay. Yeah, I'm hearing too.
I was trying to tilt the camera a little bit, and it wasn't working.
Yeah, see, I'm getting about a 6-second delay feedback from something. So you probably need to turn something off.
If I can get the sound back on these earphones.
Okay. All right. Now that sounds good again. All right. I was just running down who all's with us. I got down to.
I guess the app for the phone got overheated and it cut everything off. So I don't have any sound from the earphones. Okay. And I can't have the sound from the tablet on, or you hear the reverb.
All right. Gretchen's with us. Sonny's with us. Jack says he's accepting donations to get me to New York so I can join you on the gym. I need some advice on what to do in Curacao after Hot Air Tom Live. Okay. Nikki's with us. And Emily's with us. So we got a good house today. All right. So let me get back over here where I got the pictures. Let's see where I gotten to. I guess we were down to about here. This is at Islamorada, I take.
I know what I can do. I can mute this and listen to you on the show here, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know where the mute was.
You were sounding really strong before. And of course, I'm not.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Now I got it.
All right. Can you see the picture?
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, I was talking about they use a neat use of the palm trees to hide all these buildings. Each building has, eight rooms in it, 4 on the second floor and 4 on the third floor, and parking is underneath on the ground level. And these trees have walkways all through. It's been like a maze trying to figure out the best way to get from where we're at to the beach and to the main building. It's not very far, but the paths crisscross all over the place, so that you sometimes don't end up where you thought you might want to be. But the beautiful scenery here, it's like this was a lake. It connects to the water that I was showing you from my balcony. It's off to the left here. That there's what they call Spa Island. It's part of the same little water that makes a big loop around the middle here. And the spa is neat. I had a hot shell massage. I've had hot stone massages on the ships, so I knew that. But the hot shell, apparently the shell has some substance in it that they add an additive that activates it, and the shell gets real hot from just the chemical reaction. And that was pretty cool.
Other than sand, I hope.
Yeah, it didn't scratch it. It was a real smooth shell, so there was no scratches or anything involved in the thing. And the spa has, and it's just off to the left here behind these trees that I can see, but it has a full Olympic-sized pool of its own. And yesterday, I ventured out about 6 o'clock and thought, well, I'll go down to the pool for a dip, and I was the only one there. So I had this huge pool all to myself.
Wow.
And I walked down to the Italian restaurant in the main clubhouse to get that pizza that I sent you a little while ago.
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
And there's a hot tub. That's the hot tub there that is off the path to my left a couple buildings. And I stopped there with, well, the pizza was for Cindy, but we split it. So I had half this little pizza that I spent the time last night with traveling with Bruce. And Jack saw some of those pictures that I'm in the hot tub listening to Bruce on the phone having the pizza.
Okay. Yeah, I do have some naked pictures coming up, folks. Naked Tom in the hot tub. I wanted to let you know that, so you might want to shade your eyes here. Coming up here in a couple minutes. That's the hot tub again, I take it.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks like a nice hot tub.
I'm a hot tub fan. In addition to the pool I mentioned at the spa, if you continue down towards the main clubhouse and the ocean, they have two pools that are, I don't know what you call them. They have a bunch of swirly edges that they're not square. In other words, they just a bunch of shapes. And then there's 2 tiki bars, one for each pool, and a hot tub down there. Nice. And the main building has 3 different restaurants. It's almost like being on a cruise ship. Just you're not moving.
Are drinks included, or do you have to?
Now everything's pay, and the drink prices are like cruise ship prices. So you're looking at $14-15 for most of the drinks.
Yeah. All right. Now there's some of the pizza you had in the hot tub, and folks, just so everybody knows, I don't know, Jason in Pittsburgh will appreciate this one. Naked Tom. There we go. Naked Tom in the hot tub. That's great. Love the pictures. All right. So let's go see. Let me come back over here to chat, and we'll see who is with us, or if anybody's asking any questions. Jason says he's convinced he needs a Waverunner now. That's great. Did no, Todd, just saw you move, so I know you didn't freeze up. Jason thought that was a funny story. Emily says, I'm kind of jealous. I've not been on a Waverunner in years. I always ride one when we had our property in the Bahamas. Wow. I've never been on one. I don't have that on my bucket list, though. I've been on every kind of boat there is, but I've never been on a Waverunner. Nikki says, good story, Tom. Emily says, Jason, you definitely need one. Snorkeling is fun. Now, I have done some snorkeling, Tom. That's if you get a chance to do that. I enjoy snorkeling. I have also done some diving before too. So, and Emily says you definitely need your knees. Phone cut out due to the heat. Oh, that was Tom coming back. Carol says, good luck with a paddleboard. It's not easy. Wouldn't even try it. I'm amazed that Emily's able to do that. Yeah, Jason says the heat got to his phone as well. So it's not unusual with phones. So Emily says phones and heat don't go together. Tom is back. Oh, that was all in the interim there. And Carol says Tom's overeating. All right, everybody's enjoying your stories. That's excellent. Hot Air Tom needs his own podcast. There you go, Tom. I think you need to do your own. More competition. Uncle Bruce was with Uncle Bruce last night. I didn't get a chance to watch that. Almost like being on a cruise ship. Keep dreaming. Bruce is still calling himself Uncle Bruce. Funny that Bruce is saying still. Yeah. Okay. That takes care of everybody. All right, Tom. I got to just thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing. And let's face it, thank you for being such a good friend that I can make fun of and kid you and stuff. But this was great. this was awesome. I do have a couple news stories to get to. Feel free to stay on, or if you want to get off, click off, go ahead. But I'm going to go ahead and cover a couple news stories. I know that's unusual for me to have to do news. But anyway, so let's see. Where was I over here? Now let me come back. I got to get on this side again. And I got through the weather. I don't remember what I am doing here. I wonder if I can. I don't want to do that. Okay. So, Norwegian. All right. All right. And shocking breaking news. Norwegian Cruise Line has reported a profit before tax of $1,590 million for the first half of 2021 as the aviation sector begins to reopen in Europe. That figure compares to a loss by Norwegian Cruise Line of $4,792 million in the same period in 2020. Geir Karlsson, chief executive of Norwegian, said NCL is well positioned for future growth. Now, I found that one shocking that they made money this year. Maybe it's just because they gained a lot of cash and haven't spent it. I don't know. But I found that one really strange. A question was asked about what cruise ships do in hurricanes. What does a cruise line do in case of a hurricane? Here's a good example. Carnival Panorama was heading into Hurricane Nora down there on the west coast of Mexico. You know, I was following it and nobody else was. From last week's itinerary, they canceled Mazatlan, added Ensenada, shuffled the other days for their port visits between Cabo and Puerto Vallarta. No harm, no foul. Everyone stays safe. Now Nora is going up into the States, and the Weather Channel still isn't talking about it. Of course, it's gone now, but you guys were able to keep up with it right here on Chillie's Cruises, Travel and Cruise Industry News. So, there. Sky Princess update. The Sky Princess is the third Princess ship to resume revenue service. She departed Southampton yesterday.
Also, you want to say hi to?
Oh, there's Tom again. Wait a minute. Let me come back.
Hi, Chillie.
Hey, there's Cindy. What did I do? Here, got to get you back. Let me do this. There's Cindy. Hi, Cindy.
He says, "Hi, Cindy."
Hi.
I got the earphones on, so she can't hear.
So she can't hear. Okay, that's good. Cindy, feel free to smack Tom anytime you need to. We understand.
Smack me.
Awesome. We like that. All right, that's terrific. All right, let me go finish up, Tom. See you guys later. All right. What if I do this? Edit Mike settings. I don't want to do that. Into stream. I'm trying to figure out how I can do this without losing Tom and still keep him. Oh, well. All right. Let me go back to what was I doing? Sky Princess. Sky Princess is back up here. All right. Sky Princess sailed yesterday on the summer staycation program. The Sky Princess is offering 4-night series of domestic cruises from the UK, which will run through late September, along with the Regal Princess. The Sky Princess is now offering voyages and regular cruises around UK, ranging from 3 to 7 nights. The itinerary includes stops in Liverpool, Belfast, and Greenock in Scotland, After the UK program, the Sky Princess is set to return to Port Everglades starting in November. The ship is sailing 3, 5, 7, and 14-day cruises to the Eastern and Western Caribbean. A Royal class ship, the Sky Princess, entered service in 2019. That's another positive step for the cruise industry. I think it's anytime I can talk about something good, I'm going to do it. And that's another good thing, another ship sailing, even if it is over on the other side of the pond. All right, so we've got Oceania. I missed this one yesterday. Oceana Cruises is welcome guests across the gangway for the first time in 524 days as Oceana Marina departed from Copenhagen on Sunday. It was the first ship to sail from Copenhagen since 2019. Today is one of those days we'll remember for a lifetime as we reunite with our shipboard families and our guests to start exploring the world once again, said Bob Binder, President and CEO of Oceana Cruises. Company voyages are operating with a requirement that 100% of guests and crew are vaccinated, creating what we believe is one of the safest vacation experiences in the world. I don't know a whole lot about Oceana Cruises, but I'm certainly glad they're back in operation. All right, the CDC, there's been all kinds of chatter, innuendos about the CDC trying to kill the cruise industry as a result of the updated guidance they came out with last week. And here basically is what the CDC is suggesting. Remember, it's not required, they're suggesting it. People who are not fully vaccinated avoid travel on cruise ships. Duh. It also suggests that anyone at high risk of serious complications from COVID avoid taking cruises, whether or not they're vaccinated. Now, that would be me. You know, they're saying that they suggest, because I'm at a high risk of serious complications, that I should avoid taking a cruise. It doesn't tell me I can't take it. It is equally up to the cruise line if they're going to accept me. Right now, most cruise lines will not accept me because of the oxygen situation and gives them an equal out because they don't want somebody there that's high risk. I don't really have a problem with that. Those who choose to go on a cruise should get tested 1 to 3 days before their trip, 3 to 5 days after their trip, regardless of vaccination status. Many of the cruise lines are already requiring that pre-trip testing. The CDC says passengers who are not fully vaccinated should self-quarantine for 7 days after the cruise, even if they test negative. If they do not get tested, they should self-quarantine for 10 days. Remember, these are suggestions. Nobody's going to be sitting there holding your hand, making you do this. Guests on a cruise ship are advised to wear a mask, covering their nose and mouth when in shared spaces. I mean, that's like in the bars and the restaurants, if you're not eating or drinking, in the elevators, in indoor spaces where you're around other people. The CD says it is not enforcing its public transportation mask order on cruise ships, but several lines were already asking travelers to wear face coverings in shared indoor spaces and in the terminals before boarding the ships. I don't have a problem with that. The CDC has also added a new gray designation to its color-coded system applicable to cruise ships operating or planning to operate in U.S. waters. The gray ship designated that comes from Florida, and everything that they say is non-binding as of the court case that the Florida governor actually won, one of the few. I find the important factor in all this, and I really don't have problems with the CDC and their guidelines, except, I mean, even with what affects me, I don't have a real problem with any of that. I find it important that the cruise lines are mostly doing it on their own. So I disagree with those that say the CDC is trying to kill the cruise industry. I think they're doing what they're supposed to do. they're offering guidelines to make everything safer. Guidelines, not requirements. So, and I have no problem at all with any of this. I have no problem at all with the cruise line requiring vaccinations. I would be much happier going on a cruise, even with my, immune system as it is. As long as if everybody else is vaccinated, I would prefer it, certainly. All right. By the way, folks, I took my booster got my booster yesterday, so I'm fully vaccinated again. I've had both Pfizer shots and now the booster. I was able to get it this quickly because I am immune deficient. And I asked yesterday why, when I got the booster, why, other than me being old and fat and have all kinds of complications, why I get to the top of the list. And they said, because we have absolutely no idea what your chemo did to the antibodies from the first 2 vaccinations. I said, well, hell, that makes sense. So I don't mind at all that I got jabbed again. All right. The Wonder of the Seas. That's going to be the largest ship that it's ever been built. Has completed its first set of sea trials. As the vessel moves one step closer to completion, cruise ship is scheduled to debut in March 2022 and will be the 5th Oasis class ship. So that's it for today. All right, let's see if this is off. We'll come back over here on the comments to see if we got any more questions. Tom has an appointment on September 7th for the 3rd Pfizer shot. Cindy too, an hour later. Great. I'm telling you, folks, I had no problem at all. Jason says, good stream, hot air, Tom. Clap, clap, clap. That's great. Tom says, a bow. He took a bow. Awesome. Emily says, even vaccinated people, I should quarantine after a cruise. That's what they suggest. They suggest. Should you? Well, until you know for sure that you didn't catch something on a cruise, I suppose. But Florida is reclaiming some overpaid unemployment for news today. I said it's to fund the governor's ongoing court battles. Yeah, he's got plenty of them. He's going after the people that have doing mask mandates in the schools now, keeping them from paying these people. That's ridiculous. Emily says, congrats, Chillie, for my booster. Yep. Emily's booster's not until November. You need an antibody test. IgG at Chillie's Cruises. Yeah, I got no problem with that. Tom's diabetic. Cindy's on blood thinners, both large size. Laugh out loud. CVC seemed to think we were good to get it. Well, that was CVS, you mean. CVS is where I got mine. Oddly enough, the cancer clinic here, where I got my first 2, is not doing the booster. And I thought, why? I mean, there's a lot of people in this area that got their shots. I mean, anybody that's had cancer and been involved with the cancer clinic at all for the last couple of years got their shots there. But they're not having the boosters. Yeah, you had 3 choices: CVS or Walgreens. Yeah, the other drugstore, I use CVS, or Kroger pharmacy are the ones that have the booster shot in this area. So I went to CVS, got online, found out that my drugstore that I use had Moderna and that they would recommend that I find one of their stores that had Pfizer. I said, okay, it makes sense. Well, the Pfizer drugstore that's right up from where I do my PT, my pulmonary PT, at it. So I set the appointment there right after my PT yesterday. I got done with PT. I went out and got in the truck. I drove, 100 yards and pulled in. And I did have to, unfortunately, I had to walk a lot further than I can walk comfortably into the drugstore and go all the way across back to the pharmacy counter. But piece of cake, no problems whatsoever. Unusual roundabout those of us who have recovered. Yeah, I guess I don't think of the folks that are in your situation, Jack. That just doesn't seem to equate with me. And I know that you're figuring those antibodies will do just as well as the vaccination. And that, unfortunately, has not been proven, at least that I've seen, enough to be able to count on it 100%. So, I mean, I would still, if I was in your situation, Jack, I'd still get the vaccination, but that's me. So, and Carol said boosters are not available here in Canada. Didn't know that. If CDC recommends next year to quarantine, I may be able to cruise in 2022. Too much time off from work. Gretchen says, Jack, can you talk my recovered son into a vaccine? I guess you and he agree. I wish we knew. And I mean, in my situation, that made sense to me yesterday when they said that they have no concept of what chemo did to the antibodies. Well, that makes sense to me. So, because, hey, I mean, hell, I'm still having side effects from chemo. And how long has it been now since I had my last chemo? Getting close to, 2 months at least, probably pushing 3 months. I mean, I'm still having problems with my fingernails. I'm still having problems with having lizard skin everywhere that flakes off. My hair's growing back, but it's growing back in, clumps and spurts and here and there. And it's, not real easy to control. So, and it's, I have other side effects creep up here and there. So I don't know what it did to the antibodies. So, I mean, that just, in my pea brain, that made sense. If that's the case, it will be the case. Gretchen says he was barely sick, though. Jason says it's not approved by the CDC for normies until September 20th. Where did she go? Vaccinated patients for quarantine after the cruise. Emily, I was just getting ready to click on yours and the thing jumped, and I lost track of it. So I'm trying to scroll back down. In case you're here, I am with having this lovely dead air again. Sorry about that. Just like Sunday show was awful. There it is. Just saw a news flash on my phone. CDC says to avoid Puerto Rico and Switzerland. I had not heard about Switzerland. Puerto Rico, I'm not surprised. There's, all the islands have been spiking like crazy. I wouldn't be surprised at all if to see Puerto Rico come up with a similar situation to like the Bahamas did, where they're requiring that everybody, to get off a ship, you got to be vaccinated. And that's why the ships are able to do it now. That actually worked right into their plans. Jack said, did your son have severe COVID? No, he had a very mild case, Jack. That part I know, and I know you had a severe case. So I can also see where that could make a difference for you. Again, I just would like somebody to come out and prove it so that I would rest a lot easier if I was in Jack's situation. Of course, Jack and I kind of paralleled on what was going on in our lives at the same time. The anti-vaxxers are babies. They don't want the jab. Now, that's not necessarily true. There's people that they have issues against vaccinations. And I mean, I don't, obviously, but, I'm not really going to argue about somebody that has that belief structure. Tom says there was a man in Key West at a conch fritter stand that was fussing that FDA approval was rushed, and maker of the vaccine says don't get it. Well, I don't think it was rushed. Yes, they were trying to get it out as soon as possible because we were in such a bad shape. So, and of course, I've said all along, as much as I've fussed about former President Trump and what he's done with the election claims and all that, I still think the Republicans should have taken advantage of taking credit for the vaccination, because Trump's program is what got it to us sooner rather than later. Before you go, advice on where to go in Curacao. Let me think. Curacao. Tom, have you been to Curacao? I'm trying to think what I probably in Curacao, I went to a bar. I got to go back and think about that one, Jason. That it's not coming, anything in particular about Curacao is coming to mind, but I will make a note of that and come up with something for you about Curacao. Okay. Recommendations of, I don't know, 4 or 5 things to do in Curacao. Jack says the latest Israeli study shows recovered persons have much more and stronger antibodies than vaxxed. Okay, that I had not seen yet. That's good to know. Gretchen says at least there's that. Oh, Jason, thank you very much for the super chat. Sorry to hear about the problems. I think you'll be okay. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm feeling better than I have in years. Feel bad for my grandkids losing one of their grandfathers yesterday. That was sad. Talk with them, of course, and my son. Haven't talked to Nancy yet. It's my son's ex-wife, my grandkid's mother. But yeah, that was a sad situation, and my son's other side of his family, it's like 13 or 14 people that they've lost from COVID. I mean, their family's been hit really rough. So Emily says, have to grab breakfast to get ready for work. Jack says, I'll probably be forced to get vaxxed before my next cruise in January. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at that, Jack. And I know that you're not in favor of that, but then on the other hand, it can't hurt you. So Jack says, bye, y'all. Physical therapy has arrived. My sister had bad COVID, recovered, and has gotten the vaccines. Sonny, I think that's wise. I really do. Tom says, my cousin posted a great letter today about vaccines. I'll copy it in your messenger, Chillie. And the funny thing is, her mom is an anti-vaxxer. Okay. I will look forward to that. And Jason says, okay. I will put that on the agenda for tomorrow, Jason. We'll have something to talk about for Curacao tomorrow on the show, by the way. All right. That's going to wrap me up for today. Goodness gracious. I'm pushing up. How long have I been on today? Long time, seems to me. So anyway, yeah, 50 minutes again, pushing an hour again. Wow. You guys are working me hard. All right. Once again, I thank our friend Hot Air Tom and Cindy for being with us down there in Islamorada, Florida, and sharing with us some pictures and their experiences down there. As always, we appreciate that. Thank you guys for being with me. If you're new to this channel, we always appreciate thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please do. That helps the channel out a lot. We continue growing a little bit here and a little bit there, and that's terrific. So I'll see everybody same time, same place tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time for Wednesday's travel and cruise industry news updates. This is the old fat travel guy. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great day, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.